What's up, my friends? I'm going to continue ripping Native, one of the best sets, maybe the best set, arguably, of MetaZoo. And I'm going to talk about when is it time? When do you know when it's time to quit the hobby? I know it's a hard thing to think about, right? But I think it's time for a lot of people to do that, to think about that. When is it time for you to quit? I've been collecting for 30 plus years, and there's some things I had to quit. I never had to quit collecting completely. But there's been times where I had to take a break for financial reasons, or I just didn't have it, right? I was a poor college student and I couldn't collect. I told the comic book shop, hey, can you hold it for a while? I might get some money around this time. I might get a little bonus at work and I can pick up some books. Yeah, sure. And they held it for me. Cool. But I couldn't collect the way I collect now. And there's times where I stopped collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! And I still have not collected Yu-Gi-Oh! Since because it was a very toxic fan base. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be part of this fan base. I don't like it. I don't like the people playing. I don't like the treatment of certain players and the way everything kind of went. So I said, I am done with Yu-Gi-Oh! Have not touched it since. More power to you if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. There's times where I quit Pokemon. Again, I was a poor college student, or I guess before that, when I went to high school. It just wasn't fun for me anymore. It was still very kid-like. I guess it still is. I haven't really watched the anime or anything since, but it just didn't appeal to me anymore. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop doing this. It's not fun for me anymore. So yeah, it was not fun. So instead of going to places where I know other people were having fun playing Pokemon or collecting it, or online to different chat groups that were talking about Pokemon and harassing them and talking negative about it, I didn't do any of that. Instead, I just said, this is not for me, and I quit. Easy as that. There was no extravagant, you know, departure speech. There was no nasty messages or DMs. There was no arguments to be made. I just said, yeah, it's not for me. I'm growing. It's not. Ash is still 10 years old, and I'm, whatever, 16. I'm not collecting anymore, and I'm out. I'm done. And that's a choice that I made. And a choice that benefited me because I was not sour about it. It did not cause me any loss of sleep. Actually, I was able to do other stuff like, you know, get into girls and get into, sports and do other stuff that Pokemon, going to tournaments, I didn't have time to do. I didn't have the time to dedicate to that anymore. So I stopped going to tournaments and I stopped collecting Pokemon with my friends, and I stopped going over their houses to play Pokemon. Instead, we watched movies or, went on dates or, did other stuff that was more fun. So, yeah, I think that it was important for me to make that decision so that I could be happy. So I think people really need to make that decision. Like, are you happy right now? Are you happy with the state of the hobby and what happiness it brings to you? Are you good with that? Does it still bring you joy? If it doesn't bring you joy, get out. It's easy. Just leave. If it doesn't bring you joy and you're not happy with it, there's no reason to stay. There's no obligation to stay. Nobody really would want you to stay and be angry. Not the owners, not nobody. So yeah, it's a hard decision to make to be like, I'm done with this. But it's the most important decision sometimes to do what's best for your mental well-being, for just in life to be, you know, to find what you really want. Because really, it's just like dating, right? If you date someone who's not good for you, you are holding the spot for someone that you might really like. So if you're dating someone who's treating you really poorly, you're not compatible. It's like, man, I could be dating somebody who would change my life, and you'll never know it because you're stuck on your ex. And a lot of people in TCGs and comic books and other stuff, they would rather complain than to admit that it's time to move on. So yeah, I want everyone to think about it. Are you happy? Are you happy with what you collect? Are you happy with the community that you're in? Or are you complaining 99% of the time? Are you hating everything? You don't like the artwork, you don't like the gameplay, you don't like the staff, you don't like everything. If you're in that state, find something else. Find a hobby. If the hobby no longer suits you, find a new hobby. Simple as that. All right, y'all. Peace.